What is up, everybody? We are back. I hope everyone enjoyed the Masters. I hope you guys all had a great week. It ended up being a really good week for me on the betting front. Had Scotty Scheffler, had Tiger to make the cut, had Xander top 10, a couple others. Pretty decent week of DFS, nothing special. Had a decent shot on Sunday Showdown. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's been watching these videos. We got like 1,400 views last week, which was awesome. So, as a way to say thanks, if you have any questions about the course, the player pool, golfers in general, leave it in the comments. I'll try to check them each week and answer those. Just a way to say thanks. And yeah, if you want to try out RG Premium, we'd love to have you. We have a discount code that you can find in the description below. And you can also, if you do join, you can download this model. You can customize it to your liking. There's also a bunch of other cool PGA stuff that we have available, including if you want to check out the Rabbit Hole, we have a deal with them going on right now as well. So a lot of exciting stuff. You know, we're only through one major so far. We got 3 more to go. And this week we have a signature event. It's going to be the RBC Heritage. Only 70 golfers in the field this week, and there's not going to be a cut. So the first couple signature events where we had 70 golfers, they had a cut that was top 50 in ties. That is not the case this week, which means every golfer in the field is guaranteed to play 4 rounds unless they withdraw. Now, the big story heading into this week is going to be Scotty Scheffler. Obviously, there was a lot made of, his wife being pregnant. Their first child is due in like a week or two. And so he was saying, if she went into labor during the Masters, that he would leave. Thankfully, she didn't go into labor during the Masters, but it could very easily happen this week. And, after the grind of winning, a second green jacket, there's a lot of question marks around him. So right now he's at, 4-1 to win. It kind of feels like the books are pricing him like as being 50-50 because we aren't seeing the best odds in terms of outrights on guys like Xander, Rory, Ludwig. So interesting to see. I was kind of all in on Scheffler last week. I don't think I will be doing that this week. As far as the course goes, we have Harbor Town. This is a little bit unique of a course. It's a Pete Dye design, just over 7,200 yards. Like most of his courses, it can't be overpowered off the tee. You're going to see a lot of layups due to the fact that there's a lot of dog legs. There's a lot of water in play. There's a lot of overhanging limbs. So you got to be, it's more of a positional course off the tee. I wouldn't necessarily look at driving accuracy because that's going to give you some weird metrics for some of the bombers because they're going to be clubbing down anyway. So you don't really want to look at driving accuracy with the driver. You just want to look at guys, or you want to look at good drive percentage, maybe stroke gained off the tee, maybe total driving, something like that. But for the most part, I'm not looking at off the tee metrics too much this week. It's going to be more approach, more around the green, more putting. The greens here are very small, so 3,400 square feet on average. They're pretty difficult to hit. I think the field hit 63% of the greens last year. So again, that brings into play short game. Just to put that into perspective, a lot of the courses on the PGA Tour have greens that are twice the size of the ones that you're going to see this week at Harbor Town. Water's in play on pretty much every hole, and yeah, just the layout of the course. Any type of golfer can win here. We've seen Webb Simpson dominate this place. If we come over here and sort by course history rating, Cantlay's up there, Cam Davis is up there, Poston's up there, Fleetwood, Spieth, Fitzpatrick, Scheffler. So there's not one type of skill set that really stands out when it comes to this course. So it's kind of a week where you just want to get hot with your irons, you want to be able to scramble, then you want to be able to make some putts. You'll probably put yourself in a pretty good position come Sunday afternoon. Now, as far as the model weights go, pretty small weights to off the tee. So I have off the tee and good drive percentage. Again, very small compared to last week. We had driving distance bumped way up. We had off the tee bumped way up. Only an 8% total weight of the model goes to off the tee metrics this week. Bumped up approach. And this expected column here, what it does, it takes a look at how many approach shots each golfer is expected to hit from each 50-yard bucket. So it'll say Scheffler is expected to hit 8.9 shots from 50 to 100 yards in the fairway. Then I'll go and look at the strokes gained from those different buckets and then come up with this expected approach metric. And I get all of those numbers from Data Golf if you do want to check those out. So guys that are expected to gain the most strokes on approach based on this specific course and where they're expected to hit their approach shots. Scotty, Xander, Morikawa, who played great last week, Tom Hoagie, and Will Zalatoris kind of round out the top 5. I bumped up strokes gained around the green, bumped up strokes gained putting a little bit. The greens here, they're Bermuda grass, but they're overseeded with Poa trivialis. So we've seen this type of grass a lot on the PGA Tour so far this year in the spring. A lot of these Bermuda courses have this type of overseed. So if you want to look at putting splits on that specific type of overseed, you can do that here. I believe this is over the last 2 years. You have Xander, Burns, Tommy, Denny, and Todd rating out the best 5 putters on that specific grass type. Birdie or better at 5%, bogey avoidance at 5%. And one of the cool things about this model is you can adjust it based on any time frame. So if you want to just look at guys that have played well recently, you can bump up the last 3 months. If you want to look at the last 6 months, you can do that. If you want to look at the last 12 months, you can do that as well. I typically like to lean a little bit more to mid to long-term form, but a lot of people like the short-term. A lot of people think that, form carries over, golfers are streaky, whatever it may be. So you can go ahead, if you are a premium member, you can download the model, and then you can bump up the short-term numbers if you would rather do that. Course history has been pretty predictive here over the years, not necessarily as much as Augusta National, Riviera, anything like that, but it has been pretty predictive here over the years. So I put that at 5%. The course fit metric, which is also found on Data Golf, just guys that fit their skill set based on what they have calculated are the most important stats at this course. You have Brendan Todd, Andrew Putnam, Kevin Kisner, Russell Henley, Bryce Garnett. Very short hitters, very good scramblers, very good putters. So that's kind of what Data Golf sees as the best course fit for this week at Harbour Town. The rabbit hole, again, is a cool stat engine. You can sort by anything you want. So what I did this week, I looked at short and very short courses. I looked at lesson driver courses. I looked at par 70s and par 71s to come up with my own metric. And here's who rated out the best on that. You have Rory McIlroy, number 1, Cantlay 2, Poston 3, Harmon and Bradley rounding out the top 5. And then the course comps. So I just looked at courses that made the most sense to me. I have Colonial Country Club, Waialae Country Club, Sedgefield Country Club, and there's one more that I listed in the first look. Can't remember it off the top of my head. I guess I could go ahead and pull up my first look while I'm talking and see what that was. Let's see, RBC Heritage. Okay. So the fourth one, Innisbrook. So the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. All of them kind of lesson driver courses, all of them a lot of mid to long irons. So even though they're short courses, there's kind of a lot of mid to long irons. I think 43% of approach shots last year at this course were from 150 to 200 yards. So here's the guys that rate out the best in the course comps. You have Burns, Henley, Spieth, Keegan, and JT. Form over the last 10 weeks. This is just a way to look at how often golfers are playing and how well they're playing. This doesn't actually go into the model at all. But the short-term form does go into the model. I have it at 10%. So this is strokes gained over total over the last 24 rounds and over the last 3 months. Midterm is going to be the last 50 rounds, the last 6 months. Long term is going to be the last 100 rounds long and the last 18 months. And then so you can, again, if you like short term better, you can go ahead and do that. I typically lean a little bit more to long term. Then we come up with our ratings. And again, if you change any of the weights up here, it'll automatically adjust these weights for you. And you can change anything in the model as well. So if you want to go ahead and say, okay, Patrick Cantlay has had a good drive percentage this year over the last 3 months, but I think he's a better driver than that. You can go ahead and put him at like 25, and then it automatically changes his rating all the way over here. So you can change any of these, and everything will automatically update for you. So let's take a look at the field this week. We have Scheffler at the very top. I mean, he was approaching 40% projected ownership last week. This week he's at 10%. So everyone's worried about the withdrawal. Everyone's worried about the baby narrative. Everyone's worried about him coming off the Masters. I mean, maybe you play him in DFS. I'm not betting him outright this week at 4-1. But if he's going to be 10%, he might be worth the risk in MME especially. I mean, look at this form. First, second, first. Ever since he switched to the mallet putter, he has been on fire. And I think he's finished T12 or better in 33 of his last 37 starts, something crazy like that. So again, I'm worried about it, but I'll be monitoring the baby situation leading up to lock. Xander rates out really well for me. He almost has as near good of a rating as Scheffler this week, and then there's a pretty big gap to the next guy. So I like Xander quite a bit. He finished fourth here last year. He's been playing well. I think he's got top 10s in 7 of 9 starts this year. He just hasn't won. He hasn't won for quite a while, but that doesn't mean he can't. He's been in contention a number of times. Number 3 in the model might come as a surprise to many. Russell Henley. Can't think of a better course for him. Very accurate off the tee, good drive percentage, very good on approach. It has tailed off a little bit recently, but underrated around the greens. And the putter has been much better this year than it has been over the longer term. So, I mean, it's a good course fit. He's finished in the top 20 2 of the last 3 years here. He's had some high finishes recently. I have a hard time not loading up on Henley. I almost bet him outright. He was 55-1 when the market opened, but was down to 35-1 by the time I got around to making my bets, so I did not include him. I've ended up doing a top 10 on him instead, and I'll have a bunch of him in in DFS. Rory McIlroy 10-2 or 11-2. All of a sudden, there's these rumors about him joining LIV for $850 million. I don't know what's going on with Rory. He hasn't been playing well. He played pretty good in Texas, Valero the week before the Masters, but other than that, just hasn't been great this year. No other finish in the top 19, at least on the PGA Tour. He did win on the DP World Tour at the very start of the year. But, man, not a good course fit for him. Doesn't really have the best course history here either. So I don't love Rory this week. I should also note, look, I have a golfer notes for every single golfer in the field. So if you want to read those, feel free to do so. Fleetwood. I've seen a lot of people bet on Fleetwood. I have fallen for this trap far too many times over the years. I will not be betting Fleetwood, but I will be playing a lot of him in DFS. Guy that's very good with his irons, very good short game. Coming off of back-to-back top 7 finishes, back-to-back top 15s at this event. He makes a lot of sense. Ludwig Oberg, just on fire. I mean, this guy doesn't do anything wrong. He was making every single putt that he looked at the Masters last week. He's played well on short courses, long courses, easy courses, difficult courses. At this point, it's hard to make a case against him. So if you want to start lineups with Xander or Ludwig, certainly don't mind either of them. It's been a lot of short games so far this year. He did play great last week. I thought he could have been a little more aggressive, especially on the par 5s. He was hitting a lot of 3-woods off the tee. But, can't fault third place finish. That's his best finish ever at a major. So I was happy for him for that. But don't have a strong take on him this week. I do like Morikawa. Tends to be a form player. Was great last week. The putter was good. The irons were good. This is a perfect course fit for him. He's going to hit fairways. He's going to hit a lot of good approach shots. So I do like Morikawa this week. Wyndham Clark's been awesome at the signature events. He finished second at both the Players and Bay Hill. He won Pebble earlier this year, which has similar size greens, very small. And he's just one of those guys. I mean, he made those remarks about LIV after the Thursday round at the Masters, then ended up missing the cut. So you could spin that into a positive if you want. He's cheaper than he probably should be. He's less owned than he probably should be. And he's going to be more rested than a lot of the guys that had to grind out 2 rounds at the Masters. So I do like Wyndham Clark quite a bit. He's actually the first guy that made my betting card, my outright card. Also bet Cam Young. So I got them at 28 and 30. And those numbers were a little bit better when the market first opened. But again, I usually don't make my bets after I run my model, after I look at everything, after I do all my golfer notes. And by the time I do that, a lot of the numbers have already moved. But I still like them at their current prices. So if you want to join me on those, feel free to do so. Patrick Cantlay at 10-2, loves this place, loves speed die courses, but the form just hasn't been good. I mean, T26 of the Masters was okay. He got off to a decent start. It just hasn't been good. The ball striking hasn't been very good. Around the green hasn't been very good this year. I do like Cam Young. So even though the driver is one of his biggest weapons, he is very good with the mid to long irons. And again, can be hitting a lot of those this week. He almost won here in 2022, finished third. The form's been good. I think he's going to break out sooner rather than later. And I'm going to be there when it happens. Spieth missed the cut last week, said he was dealing with that wrist issue. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Spieth this week. Sam Burns also has a baby narrative. I think his wife is due a little bit earlier than Scheffler's wife. So that's probably why you're getting that low ownership percentage there. It does rate out as a good value play, but there is that withdrawal risk. And that WD risk is a lot greater this week than it is most weeks because everyone's guaranteed 4 rounds. So a WD is just going to absolutely kill your lineup. It probably would most weeks anyway, but with a cut, if you still got 5 or 6 through, you can maybe min cash, something like that. You're not going to be able to min cash with 5 or 6 playing this week because everyone's going to have 6 or 6, barring any WDs. So there is that added risk with both Burns and Scheffler. Fitz 1 year last year. He's been playing better since he found that extra weight in his driver. Don't have a strong take on him. T26 last week at the Masters wasn't great, but wasn't bad. The approach numbers haven't been very good this year, but he always does have that really good short game. Do like Connors. He hasn't missed a cut this year. Hasn't missed a cut since June, which is pretty awesome. He's got 4 straight top 35s here. Maybe he doesn't putt well enough to win, but I think a top 30, top 20, top 10, all very live this week. Pretty good price point as well. Zalatoris, pretty good finish at the Masters, another top 10. He's one of those guys that the harder the course gets, the better he gets. This is a fairly difficult course. I wouldn't call it, extremely difficult, but for one that measures 7,200 yards, it's certainly more difficult than most on the PGA Tour. So I don't mind some Willie Z this week. The guy that I bet on that I probably shouldn't have, JT, 55-1. I just couldn't get over that number. Look, the last 3 results have been bad, right? Missed cut, T64. He made the cut, but played pretty bad on the weekend. Missed the cut at the Masters. He went 7 over on his last 4 holes to miss the cut by 1. I mean, you can't make this up. He did the same thing at the Masters last year. So 2 years in a row, he just fell apart on his back 9 on Friday to miss the cut. But if you zoom out a little bit, he's finished T12 or better in 6 of his last 10 starts on the PGA Tour. If you look at his strengths, iron play around the green, that's exactly what you need at this course. Nobody's going to play him. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into a good week from him because, I've been burned by him the last couple of weeks. But I do like some JT this week. Tigala, I don't know, man. I was so high on him last week. He was playing great leading in. He had a top 10 in his debut at the Masters and just T45. He wasn't very good in any of the strokes gain categories. So I don't know what to do with Tigala. I do like Lowry. He finished T33 last week. He lost 8 strokes putting. So if you add those 8 strokes back in, if he was just even with the field when it came to the putter, he would have finished in the top 10. And this is a course that he loves. He's got 3 top 10s here the last 5 years. Almost bet him, but his number dropped a bunch too by the time I got to it. So I'm going to play a bunch of him in DFS. Denny, I like him on these shorter courses. He nearly won at Valero a couple weeks ago, made the cut at the Masters. I like Poston, another guy with really good course history here, 3 top 10s the last 5 years. Finau, I think he lost, lost over 10 strokes on and around the greens last week. It's just hard to trust him when he's missing so many putts, especially at a course like this. So I don't know. He'll probably be fine. He'll probably finish top 25. I just don't know. I don't know if he has like top 5 upside right now. Moving on, we have Siwoo Kim, who's been great tee to green. Hasn't been great here, but he has won on 2 different Pete Dye courses. He won the Amex. He won the Players. So if you want to play those corollary courses, I certainly don't mind him. Brian Harmon's been very boomer bust. Does feel like a good Brian Harmon course, but he's been bad here. No, he hasn't been bad here. 4 straight top 35s. I must have gotten confused with Siwoo. Hasn't been very good here. 2 of his last 5 cuts, and T33 his best finish. So Brendan Todd, number 1 in the course fit rating on Data Golf. He's a guy that hits fairways. Really good short game. The iron play can be spotty at times, but it's gotten a lot better over the last year. Coming off of a T5 finish, and he did not play last week. I like the guys that didn't play last week because, that was a very taxing 4 days. Not only was it a major, but you had the crazy wind, the baked out greens. That's just had to have been, a grind. Plus you have the undulations, all the elevation changes. Everyone talks about how tough it is to walk 18 holes at Augusta National, and they had to walk, 72 holes. A lot of the golfers that are in the field this week. So I do like Seabez. I like Todd. They didn't play last week. They both been in pretty good form. Both pretty good course fits. I'll be overweight on them. Taylor Moore, 10 for 10 in cuts made so far this season. He was T11 here last year. He's going to be popular, but it's hard to make a case against him. I like Glover, good ball striker. If you look at his around the green numbers, I think he's gained in 9 of 11, 10 of 12, something like that. So ball striker that's getting better with the short game. Yeah, sign me up for that. The putter might be bad, but I'll take my chances. No strong take on Akshay. No strong take on Jaeger. I typically like to fade guys that are coming off of their first PGA Tour win when they aren't like superstars. So I think it could take some time for Jaeger to get back on track after his win and in Houston. Kirk's a good course fit. Putnam's a great course fit, but just hasn't played well here in the past. But 6,400, he can't get cut, so I do like that. Hoagie's a good iron player. Pavon's been relying on a putter, but he's been pretty good, so don't mind him. I do like Eric Cole. I say that every week, but if you look at his stats, very bad off the tee, very good on approach, kind of trending in the wrong direction though. Very good around the green, very good putter. This is a course where driver doesn't matter that much. If you can just club down, hit something, I don't know, hybrid, 3-iron, whatever it may be, just get it in play off the tee. Trust the rest of your game. I think he could be a very sneaky play at 6,700. I like Keegan. Benny on, his biggest weapon's his driver, so that worries me a little bit, but he played good last week. I think he was second in the field, tee to green. I'm going to be off of Jason Day. He's just been so bad on approach that I can't trust him right now. I do like Harris English. He's won at another Carolinas course. Or no, I think he won at Sea Island. That was a Georgia course, but it is a corollary course if you want to look at that. Cam Davis is going to be very popular, coming off of a good finish last week and then back-to-back top 10s at this event. So he's going to be popular. Tom Kim, incredible round on Sunday at the Masters. But other than that, he's been pretty bad. I mean, even with that round, he finished T26. He's going to be popular. I'll take my chances with a full fade. Griot, Sung Jae's been really bad this whole year. He's been missing cuts at courses that he loves, so I'm not too in love with his course history while it's good. I mean, he's got good course history at a lot of places that he's missed a cut this year. I like Shank. Probably no Ekro for me. I do like Hadwin a little bit. See if there's anybody else. Mackenzie Hughes. So he's always been known as a short game specialist, but he's gained at least 4 strokes ball striking 2 of his last 3 starts. So something to monitor there. Can't play Ricky right now. Dietrich's at least shown some upside. Seb Straka's boomer bust. So in a no cut, don't mind taking a look at a guy like him. Webb Simpson's actually made 5 of his last 6 cuts. No high finishes, but he loves this place. So maybe give him a look in large field stuff. That should do it. So if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments, whether it's 2v2 for players or strategy related, course related, whatever it may be. It's just my way of saying thanks for watching this video. If you want to try RG Premium, we'd love to have you. If you want to join the RG Discord, we cooked up a 10-leg made cut parlay last week that hit. It was a lot of fun sweating it with everybody. We all made some money doing it. So we'll have another one of those this week, although we'll have to do something different since there is no cut. Maybe we'll do a top 20 parlay, something along those lines. So if you want to join the RG Discord, it's a lot of fun, whether you want to come talk strategy or just come tilt your lineups with everybody. That plays, or that channel, the golf channel is, pretty busy all week. And what else we got here? That should just about do it, I think. But appreciate you joining me. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, and we'll see you back here next week. Good luck, everybody.